Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, wherever in the world you might be. You are now watching the Asia, and we are officially underway on Beyond the Summit stream. There will be other streams of this event. If you want to catch some of the other games, you can go find those on your various community sites. Go Sue Gamers, Join Dota, Team Liquid, etc. But over here, it will be Zenith versus Joenet leading things off. We're in the group stages, just getting started for today. I believe we have a total of 6 group stage matches coming your way, and it's actually a good moment just to take a quick look. I'll show you the schedule. The only info that is not correct on this is I believe we're actually casting MUFC and Natural 9 as the final match of the day. Well, and all the times. All the times are probably wrong. We're about an hour behind schedule right now, but the good news is we are underway now. We start this match with Zenith versus Joenet. Not quite the Zenith we saw at the International 2, but pretty close. Joenet, a bit of an unknown up-and-coming team, I believe hailing from Indonesia. I'm LD of Beyond the Summit. I'm joined here today by Statsman Bruno. Bruno, thanks for taking the time out of your busy day, or should I say Ice Frog? Thanks for taking the time.
Hey LD, how are you? It's no problem. It's 1 a.m. here anyway, so it's not that I have much to do.
Who needs sleep, right?
Yeah, it's overrated. But well, picks are underway, and we're seeing lots of interesting things here. Let me start by saying that I'm finding really interesting that so many teams are first picking Nyx Assassin now. I feel it's kind of like when 676 came out and Jakiro was the first pick because everyone would ban Bad Rider and Templar Assassin or Magnus, which were the strongest heroes. And Jakiro was the hero that no one wanted to ban, but they always first picked or tried to pick in the first 3 picks. So now we see lots of Nyx Assassin. Do you think this is something to do with the new patch or anything?
Well, it's a really popular. I feel like it's one of those things where he's been a solid hero, but then he sort of gets discovered, and maybe it has to do with the changes of the buffs. He did see some play in Dota 1, the old version of, well, I guess in Dota 1 he's Nerubian Assassin, not Nyx Assassin, but I think a lot of us who play that game will remember he had well, a long time ago, he was just basically a burst damage ganker. Then he got the bugs. I forget what it's called. Not the Swarm. Oh, the Urna Swarm, I think it was called.
Yeah, the Urna Swarm.
And they silenced him at AoE. He was run as a tri-lane support, primarily a niche pick in the Philippine scene. And, well, since then, he's changed a lot. Now he's Spike Carapace. He's just got so much stun potential as a support. And the other nice thing is because he has Vendetta, he puts an extra tax on the enemy team. Because if he gets that early level 6, if he has a decent start, then you have to be worried about him showing up out of nowhere and picking off those squishies. And speaking of squishies, we've got a big one there in the Wisp. Pretty vulnerable to that Nyx, not only in the mid game with the ganks coming from Vendetta, but also even in the laning stage. So I think he's here to stay. I think he's a legitimate pick. Not necessarily going to be a top tier first pick worthy hero every game, but especially in the A's and scene, a lot of these teams really like him and pretty comfortable using him.
I'm really liking the pick right now, especially against the Wisp. Of course, the Wisp was picked after Nyx Assassin, though, so they must feel confident that they can overcome it. But think about Wisp. He's a great tool once he hits level 6. He's a great ganker. He pairs really well with lots of heroes, Chaos Knight being one of them. But, I mean, he's really weak in the laning stage. He's not a good laner in the Wisp. So what some teams have been doing recently, from what I've been watching, is contested tri-lane, put the pressure on that Wisp. If you kill that Wisp early, if you take advantage of his weakness during the early levels, he'll leave his carry unguarded, and that will clearly give you a very huge advantage. Instead of just like putting the offlaner and trying to get a few last hits, and then just leave the Wisp to pre-farm, and when he gets level 6, level 7, then no one can stop him, right?
It sounds good, Bruno. Bruno, what you doing, man? I told you to turn on the in-game. No, guys, Bruno did turn it on. Dota TV is a little buggy. He'll toggle it. He should get it fixed.
Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, Wisp is, we're so used to seeing it as a support, but if he gets that early level 6, level 7, we've seen Dendi run him solo mid. He's not a strong 1v1 here. That zero base armor, the low damage, but he really does benefit from levels. So even if it's just a matter of, you rotate someone into the jungle, let them do pulling for a little bit, you've got lane wards to protect the Wisp. He does need those levels. If he falls behind early, he becomes dead weight. If he has a decent start, or if he gets some kills, suddenly he's a terrifying beast of a hero, and he'll be paired with Chaos Knight this game. We'll have to see how they lane it. Normally, what we saw at first when Wisp came into the scene was usually that safe lane combo with Tiny, sometimes with another support just to help solidify it, and with teams usually running a solo suicide laner. It was pretty easy in the lane stage. We've seen some teams in the European scene dual lane a mid, so yeah, I'm interested to see how Joenet runs this hero. I don't know about you, but at least for me, Joenet is pretty much an unknown team. I believe they upset, I want to say they upset Orange in the GEST Dota 2. but maybe my memory's a little foggy in that department. Either way, definitely a team that there won't be much info about, which could work to their advantage.
Yeah. Well, even then, right now, we're seeing something different. Maybe it's because these days I've been watching too much European Dota. I'm a bit surprised at the Disruptor and Invoker bans. It's heroes that have been falling off the meta game recently, but they think to think that they might be picked here. So we see Disruptor, Invoker, and Brewmaster. Heroes that, if you remember, 4 or 5 months ago were top picks. Not so much right now.
And there's nothing that's really been changed about those heroes directly. Well, Invoker has gotten his landing stage is pretty weak now with the nerfs to his base damage. Did his move speed get lowered again? Or no, I'm thinking of Rubik. I think I'm confusing him.
Yeah, that's Rubik.
It's so hard to last hit with him in the lane, but Panda hasn't changed at all. It's just not being picked right now because other heroes have gotten stronger.
Well, it's mostly about Bad Rider, Templar Assassin, even Magnus. Very good mid heroes that have changed the metagame and moved other heroes away. You'd even see, like, a long time ago, you'd even see Nature's Prophet going mid. Right now, if you put a Nature's Prophet mid, you'll have a hard time.
Well, it depends. I mean, it depends on how Joenet lane it. If it's that dual lane mid with CK Wisp, yeah, Prophet can't really lane against that. If you ever get tethered, if you ever get Reality Rifted into the tether, you're pretty much giving up a kill, unless Wisp is tanking the tower or something along those lines, which she shouldn't be. So Joenet are going to go with a Shadow Fiend. I kind of like this because I feel like their team's got a snowball or they don't have a shot anyway. And Shadow Fiend isn't the kind of hero that can do that. We've seen Ohio from MUFC really have some good luck with it. Can the Shadow Fiend live up to what Ohio did? We'll find out, but I like this pick.
And I'm a bit surprised because the way it looks now for Zenith, we're seeing a tri-lane with Tiny. Is it a mid-lane druid and off-lane prophet, or is it a mid-prophet and I have to eat my own words?
It looks like a tri-lane Tiny and then an off-lane prophet, I want to say. Tiny's not really the best offensive tri-laner, and I think that's pretty obvious to most people, so normally we don't see him in that position. I think off-lane Lone Druid, solo mid Prophet, and safe lane tri-lane with the Tiny, but I mean, your guess is as good as mine. Lone Druid does okay against Shadow Fiend 1v1. If he ever gets an entangle and Shadow Fiend's not crushing the lane, he could just kill him. But it's going to be mind games as well, because what is Joenet doing with their lanes? That's not really clear either. Shadow Fiend, we've seen him solo mid, we've seen him in the safe lane, getting protected farm. The one thing we won't see him do is go to the suicide lane, but aside from that, your guess is as good as mine.
We're seeing 1-2-2 from Joenet, I think. It's that Windrunner off lane and then 2 dual lanes. Because none of those heroes can off lane, or... Well, maybe you can get solo mid Shadow Fiend, yeah.
Maybe Zenith can offensive tri-lane with that last pick. And actually, I just realized I got to put on the proper overlay. Who do we have? Zenith on the right. There we go. Yep, we have Zenith on the Dire, so... Let's see how the lanes develop real quickly. We'll introduce the players. I will introduce Zenith. X-Freedom, going to be playing that Rubik. I know there's some confusion about, well, MUFC, Zenith, and Orange. These guys have been kind of mixing their players up a bit. X-Freedom stood in for MUFC at the GEST Dota 2 Challenge, but it's actually HYHY playing for MUFC. X-Freedom is going to be on the Rubik for Zenith. Lux, formerly of Aeon, a pretty decent Singaporean team that did reasonably well at the International 2 East qualifiers, but weren't able to qualify for the main event. XY going to be handling that safe lane Timey, getting the protected farm. Ice. It'll be in the off lane. Something that he didn't really do in Zenith back at the International 2, but he's gotten some practice and experience with it in Orange. And last but not least, we have A, who I believe is also a player from Aeon, but who it is escaping me.
It's the King. The King.
The King.
Do you remember?
Yes.
Yeah, the King. You'll have to introduce the other team because Dota audio is still not working for me, so I'm trying to fix it.
Yeah, guys, we do apologize for that. Ice Frog, hopefully he'll figure out the Dota 2 audio someday. But in the meantime, I'll try and make sure that you guys at least know what's going on. So we have 993 playing the Windrunner. Not sure where he's headed. It looks like they're just leaving that suicide lane empty for the moment, which up against that tri-lane with Rubik, Nyx, and Tiny is a pretty wise choice. The issue, though, is if we see those heroes roam towards mid, will they do that? We'll find out. Han Trash player used to be a really strong player in the Dota 1 scene. And I love the name, by the way. Just such a swagger kind of name. He'll be playing that Shadow Fiend going solo mid. Off the bat, you do see the protection of this lane. Really smart dewarding coming up from Fate, who's playing that support Wisp. I don't think we'll see him stay mid. 1v1, Shadow Fiend can definitely get some farm and hold his own against Prophet. Once he gets a few souls, it should be gravy for him, but that early start can be a little bit tricky. Prophet is the better damage early on.
Yep. Okay, I finally have Dota too.
All right,
so
just so I don't forget, let me introduce, I think this is our final player. We have Don or X1 on the H Apparition. Oh, and Dummy Nation on the Chaos Knight. So you predicted dual lanes, and it looked like it might be to start, but now we're not seeing it. It looks like it will be a tri-lane.
So it seems, and lots of rotation that they're tanking everything, pulling the lanes. It's also so good. You know what, we're having a pause here. I remember it was one European player, Wagamama from Team Pulse. He was theory crafting always of using the bear in the mid lane and trying to steal creeps from other lanes and bringing them mid with the bear. Granted, this was the time when you could resummon the bear even when he was taking damage, so it was quite easy even if your bear was in a pickle. But it was so interesting to see. I saw it just in one game. It didn't really work so well, but the idea was to bring the lone druid mid, bring the bear top, and pull the creeps from the top lane towards mid. So you're the bear and you get double the XP. If you can last it well, you get double the gold as well. And your offlaner will have an easy way because, okay, he will not be getting levels, but he wasn't going to get levels anyway. And you're pushing the tower, and you're making the enemy carry to let's hit under his own tower. That was kind of a funny trick. I hope I'll see it again in the future.
I guess we're not going to see it this game. It's something... I mean, we haven't really seen that in a while, but yeah, there used to be lots of cute shenanigans like that, just trying to, get the double stacked waves and, just moving waves from lane to lane. It's something... I think in Dota 2 it's a little bit harder to do. In Dota 1, if the creeps get to a certain point, they'll just walk down a different lane, but I think in Dota 2, they always try to return to their lane if they're not being actively pulled. They're going to go onto the Lone Druid bottom lane. Ice was not prepared for this aggression, or maybe he was. There's no mana for a Chaos Bolt. Would have been the easiest first blood ever. Oh, they missed a great opportunity there. Chaos Knight just not doing the math properly, or thinking they'd get the kill without it, and they needed that Chaos Bolt.
And that's the big problem with Chaos Knight early game. He has so little mana. It's just 247. It's just enough for one Chaos Bolt and one Reality Rift. You can't even Reality Rift again without actually using a Clarity and getting some mana. So hard to play him. You have to be very, very conscious of what you're going to do and not waste any single spell.
Well, for the moment, he is claritying up. This time around, he's going to have the full mana pool to work with. We do have, on the other side of the map, we've got a Tiny getting free farm.
Tanking lots. Oh.
Wow, Ice. After dodging the bullet there, finds the first blood on Chaos Knight.
Getting double.
Oh, no. Nice job, Ancient Apparition. Clicking one of his own creeps, removes the tower aggro, but man, what a missed opportunity for Joenet. They got to be kicking themselves a bit right there.
Unbelievable. He got the tower aggro and he couldn't remove it. So the tower pretty much did all the work. All Lone Druid had to do was just auto-attack him once and Chaos Knight was dead. So now he can come back even faster than Lone Druid. Chaos Knight have to walk back to the lane. And that's a lot of EXP and gold miss. And that means lots of room for the Lone Druid who doesn't have the Bear for 2 more minutes, but still can last hit a bit until that Chaos Knight gets there.
I also want to point out, because they went for that first blood, they were pushing the lane a lot, which is great if you want a tower dive. You got the creeps to tank the tower, you've got just a little bit more momentum, and it also kind of baits Ice forward, because he sees all that delicious experience and potentially gold, and he wants a piece of it. But the downside is, when they failed to get that kill, Ice got a ton of levels. Bruno, he's already almost level 4 as an offlane Lone Druid, and the first blood helps, but a lot of this is just creep experience. And being that offlane Lone Druid, he can also look to farm the Ancients if they don't ward that pull, something we have seen from teams in the past against a hero like Lone Druid in the offlane, but so far, we're not seeing it. Compare that Lone Druid to Windrunner. Windrunner's level 1, Lone Druid about to hit level 4. In fact, I think he just did. No, still level 3. But
you
close.
know, the funny thing about that Windrunner is the creeps are pushing to her tower, and she's so scared. She can't even get close to her creeps. Look at her. Look how defensive she's playing. The creeps are right under her tower, and she can't really the XP at all.
I think she's actually worried about a smoke gang from these supports. She doesn't know where they are. They don't have a smoke, but has she even seen their inventories? I'm not sure. Bottom lane, they go in again on Ice. Picked off, this time by the combo. Tiny rotates in XY. Another player who doesn't have the mana for his combo. Hasted Ancient Apparition, toying with XY, and in the end, well, they force the TP out of the Tiny. They get the kill on Ice, and they lose the Wisp, but I mean, I think that's a pretty good trade. They get the experience on that Lone Druid, and as big as he was getting, that experience rebounding back the other way. The one lane we haven't really looked at yet, Bruno, is this mid lane, and right now it's Shadow Fiend versus a Prophet. Prophet slightly ahead, but not shutting down Shadow Fiend, and I think this lane going reasonably well for Joenet. We haven't seen the pressure mid, but with all these stuns, you expect Zenith's going to go for some ganks there soon.
Yeah, I'm surprised no one decided to go gank mid. I mean, none of these heroes have an escape mechanism. I mean, you have the Sprout from Nature's Prophet, but that's nothing a tangle can't solve. Both being so weak in the laning phase, it's like they're begging for the supports to come and gank. And whoever comes, the other can help. It's like Nature Prophet can help gank with a Sprout. And of course, you can't underestimate the damage that Shadow Fiend can do with a couple races. So whichever comes first will take the kill there.
XY, TP's bottom, rotates all the way through middle lane towards top, was spotted by a Radiant Ward, now going for a backstab. But you gotta figure 993 is prepared for this. He is. Sure, he's getting nothing out of this lane, but I gotta credit him for his positioning, paying good attention to that minimap when he doesn't see heroes and when he does see them. Both things can tell you a lot, either telling you they might be smoke ganky for you or they're definitely coming your way. Not getting picked off, but the push will commence top lane again. So a lot of wasted time for that Tiny. This is time he's not farming. He's still our lead farmer, but Shadow Fiend and Chaos Knight have caught up quite a bit.
Yep. And now Rubik pulling the creep, finding Ancient Apparition. He wants to fight this. He's creep blocked! He's creep blocked!
Oh, this is such a strong combo. Tossing the Nixus as an in for the stun. Level 6 on XY with that bottle. Just looking to get active around the map, and Nyx Assassin only level 3. So a bit under-leveled. It's really X-Freedom has been getting the best of that support role. Boots up on him, getting close to Arcanes and also already hitting level 4. I'm a little worried about Joenet. I feel like if they don't find some relocate ganks to put the pressure on Zenith, they're just going to get Vendetta ganked, Tiny ganked all game long. The tier 1 falling top. The safe areas to farm are starting to shrink.
Yeah, well, the good thing is that Windrunner will finally get a few levels because the way the lane is pushing right now, and with Ancient Aberration help, she can get to level 3 or 4 easily. And Tiny can't really farm so close to the tier 2 tower, so he'll go for some pulls, go for some jungle, maybe some ganking.
Yeah, he's heading towards mid for the moment. He's been very active around the map, and this is great if you find the kills. There are some... if we be honest about it, I want to say every single hero aside from Chaos Knight is a Tiny kill. Especially once he hits level 8, he's got that max combo. Ideally even level 11, just to have the 2 points in your ultimate, which does make that toss and the auto attacks during the combo avalanche toss hit a bit harder. He has a double damager in as well. Anybody who gets caught is dead. This Windrunner looks to be in a lot of trouble. Even if she wins round, she might get caught anyway. The phase boots, not actually going to go for it.
Wow. He definitely saw her.
Yeah, I think the phase boots were on cooldown there and just not finding the opening.
Yeah. Well, but he can still farm a couple of creeps. Remember, 4 creeps equal a hero kill in gold at least. So that has to count for something.
Tell that to the CIS teams I was casting today, because I don't think they realize that. Or they do and they just don't care. But killing creeps is not honorable play, Bruno.
No.
It's really rude, to be honest. But hey, it works.
It works, definitely.
All's fair in love and war.
So, are we seeing... Well, they're going to try and stop Despair from pulling. Despair is so cheeky. Delaying the creep wave. Oh, look, it's a huge push.
Yeah, this is really smart. It's one of the new ways to try and get that creep wave coming to you as the offlaner is not to actually try to pull it, just to keep it back so that your lane pushes into the enemy tower and then rebounds. And maybe he will try to pull it in the end, but even if you don't, the lane's going to push out anyway. It's going to be a huge stack of experience, and there's not really much of a way to deal with this, aside from your hero just tanking the tower, but mid lane, it's all about this 3-man group up, going for the kill mid. Level 3 Windrunner, not really the strongest ganker. Shadow Fiend's getting a lot of help this game.
He is, but still, no kills, no deaths. This mid lane has been pretty calm for 8 minutes. We normally expect to see a couple of kills here, but now he's going for the top bottle.
Oh, wow. That profit.
That was some nice micro there.
Yeah, that's adorable. And also really annoying. Not so much for the Windrunner, it's more the Shadow Fiend. He's got some bottle charges, so not the biggest deal, but hey, free regen, you'll take that. Well, they pull anyway, and this bottom lane, the tower's falling. I feel towers are essential for this Joenet team. Come the mid game, there's the Prophet, Tiny, and Nyx Assassin. All these heroes are great gankers. Even that Rubik is getting a lot of farm. He's got Arcane Boots. He's almost level 6. I don't really like them letting this tower fall. It takes a lot of damage. If they lose a fight bottom, that tier 1's pretty much dead.
Yes. But they might try to push now because they're putting 4 heroes in the bottom lane. And Zenith have 3 of their own. And there's always Prophet that can TP, so we might see a clash here.
Look at
right
this
now.
creep wave. I guess this is the
huge.
one downside, is you don't really want to fight against this wave if you're Zenith. Will they go in? Joenet's thinking about the dive. Little do they know the trap is here. The bait has been set, and Joenet took it. They walk right in to 3 heroes. Into the backstab from XY. Tether away from Wisp. Nice job, but not enough. Jams it in with the toss there. And 993 might be the last to fall. Tether stolen by X Freedom. It's a drive by Rubik. It's a pick off for Freedom. Boy, that was... Can you say bait? My goodness.
That was such a nice bait. Everyone was hidden. They were like, okay, we can charge against this lone druid. He's level 6, he's not even turned into a bear yet. This is an easy kill, only it wasn't. And Zenith knew about it because Furion came straight away, Nature's Prophet came straight away. So it was such a nice bait, and they gave 3 heroes for the price of none.
Well,
and a tower.
And the tower, maybe it would have fallen anyway, but, you know, as we talked about, doing all those pulls, when Ice is already holding the creep wave back, it's even easier to kill. He gets the tower. Actually, no, sorry, Prophet got that one. And what's he got? He's got a mech complete. This is really going to fuel the aggression. Sometimes we see that Midas, and it's generally what Zenith favors, but I think this is a good choice this game. They're going to go on to the Ancient Apparition. Uh-oh. Oh, can he live? The bear's not actually in range to auto-attack, just following harmlessly for the moment, tossing forward the Nyx into the fight. Lux says, where the hell am I? Why the hell am I here? He's got Spike Carapace. Can he time it properly? He does. Can he get away? Hero Nyx. No, he can't.
So close. He did everything perfect there.
Except live. That's
Except him. But the most amazing thing is that he had cold feet. And Tiny said, okay, I'm going to toss you outside of the cold feet range. And he survived because of that. So good, so many good plays from Zenith. Although this was a 2-1 fight for... Yeah, 2-1 fight for Joenet. So slight advantage for them. It's always good. They killed that lone druid. His Radiance, if he decides to go for it, will be a bit delayed.
A bit delayed, but he's that offlane Lone Druid, and they have... It's not a lineup where Lone Druid is just that pure one position. You gotta shoulder the load. Sure, Tiny's been doing a lot of roaming, but he's still going for phase boots drums. He's going for that, you know, mid to late game hard carry option, a lot of attack speed, a lot of additional chasing power and damage. And they've got the Prophet, who did start with a mech, so not really as much of an emphasis on farming, but... As a team, I don't think Zenith... They're okay with the Lone Druid dying. They don't want it to happen a lot, but it's not going to cost them too much.
Yep. And look at that micro from the Prophet. Yes, creeps killing there, and there's another creep pulling the hard camp.
Where are we looking? Oh, at the top side of the map. I kept on seeing the bear and was confused. Wow, really impressive play.
Yeah.
Pulling one camp, farming, and oh, actually, I don't think he didn't get the stack. He's probably going to be yelling at Dota for that one, but it was the thought that counts.
It was his thought that counts. Yeah. Now everyone's converging towards mid. Tiny trying to backstab while the other 4 can. That tier 1 tower. Will they find that Chaos Knight? Chaos Knight seems to want to go towards that bit.
Here comes a hasted XY. Surprisingly, he mans down. Instead, he wants to go on mid, but there is a Chaos Knight lurking here. As you mentioned, now the Tether Reality Rift option is available, but Tiny gonna be... That's a very fast rock.
Yep. Oh, they're just killing neutrals. I heard lots of abilities being cast, but they were casting towards the easy camp. But the problem is Wisp is not level 6 yet. It's 13 minutes into the game, and he's about 2 or 3 waves away from level 6. And that's a bit concerning.
And it's not safe. There's a Prophet on the map. There's that Nyx Assassin who can one-shot her by himself. They will catch on XY. The Raze has got to be good here. They need that burst damage. They don't quite kill him off. Nobody's dead yet for either team. The Wisp keeping the Chaos Knight away. Really nice positioning from Fate. Sitting on the high ground, knowing that he's too squishy to just jump into the middle of the fight. Would have easily died to the Tiny combo. Does live, but if he had a few more levels, it might have been a different story. Han Trash player forced to run away. Freedom doing a lot of damage, and this is the scary thing about those farm supports. The Nyx and the Rubik.
Wow, look at this. Rubik has a gem. 13-minute gem.
They actually had it on the Nyx, but they passed it away to the Rubik, I suppose, just because he's going to be able to deward a little bit more easily. No, it's hot potato with that gem. Now on the floor again. Oh, 993 just caught at the tail end of his TP. How unfortunate. He does have a power shot. He does have a tango. He's got a shackle as well. Can he find the opening? He doesn't. That Tiny, I mean, Stretch Armstrong, really, with that long-range auto attack, gets the kill. And JE, this is where Zenith really are comfortable. This is how they generally have won games, at least with the current roster. It's just spreading the map. They'll find some kills. They'll get map control, and then they just outfarm you. And that's the kind of lineup they have. That's the play we're seeing from them right now.
Do you want to see something funny? Check Ancient Apparition skill build.
Is he maxing Chilling Touch? He is.
He's going for Chilling Touch.
Luminous would be pleased.
Yeah, it's actually a very good skill. It's a bit expensive, now it's cheaper, so it's kind of good.
It's.
But, I mean, I'm excited that people are trying this. Wisp, Wisp, you're dead.
Didn't even need the Mana Burn or the Spike Carapace.
No, just the Vendetta hit and Impale 1 auto attack, he's dead.
That's like dying before the guillotine actually chops off your head. I don't know how that's possible, but somehow it happens.
Yeah, dying of heart attack before it actually happens.
Yeah, there you go. Now the analogy makes a little bit of sense.
Cool.
Which makes it less fun.
Glad I could help.
It's more fun when it's silly. Oh, Shackle from Creep to Hero. What a Shackle. Just too bad there's no follow-up. But you do see, they've got that individual skill to be able to play with Zenith. It feels like this game really coming down to the strategy and sort of the team decision-making right now. Now, they're not out of it. Shadow Fiend is going for a BKB. That's going to be the big moment for them. Once he has that BKB up, they got to find some openings. Otherwise, come late game, Shadow Fiend will get out-carried by this triple semi-carry lineup, the Tiny, the Lone Druid, as well as the Prophet.
Yep. And they're trying to defend that mid tower now, which is actually a good idea because there are just the two supports there. Oh.
Yikes. Well, is he going to live? In comes the medical assistance airdropped in to the middle of the fight. Man, I love saying that. Ice. No, what an entangle. You know you're a good Lone Druid player when you always get the entangles when you need them. Dummy Nation now forced to run away. Runs into the creeps. A little bit confused here. Perhaps has a small concussion. Meanwhile, middle lane, Lux waiting to try and engage on that Shadow Fiend. He's going to go for the stun, but it's too late. The tower last hit by Hontrash player. Now the support flying in mid, but Tiny's here with the haste. No escape for this Hontrash player today. Or maybe there is. One more auto attack.
Oh, no. Not enough.
And XY once more. Mega kill for him. Roaming Tiny, not something we're used to seeing, but it is working.
It is working really well. He's 5-0-2. He's been everywhere in the map. Top lane, bottom lane, now ganking mid lane. He's really, really strong right now. He's getting his quick against, so maybe a couple, 5 more minutes and he'll have it up and they'll start pushing really hard.
Oh, they're working away on that tower mid. In comes the Prophet with the TP, and look at the pressure. It's 2 heroes bottom, it's 2 heroes mid. The Relic's coming up soon. XY maybe 5 minutes off the Aghanim's, something like that. So won't be that bad of an Aghanim's timing, and the tower gold's really going to help. Prophet has a Void Stone up. I think there's something else on the way for him. No, maybe not. I guess just one for the power trades. Now Dummy Nation comes in onto XY, and that Rock is tanky. I don't know if they can really kill him. In fact, he may just turn around and execute the Wisp for his insolence. Oh, they're going to pull in A. Now the Shackle fails to... Oh, it does slash! It does slash! What a hero Shackle! Wow. Wow, are they really turning this fight around, Bruno? Are they going to do it? XY falls, double kill on Hot Trash player. What are we watching here?
Have you seen that?
Lux is
that Carapace killing the Ancient Apparition.
Oh, this could be another kill for Hot Trash player. He doesn't really have that move speed, though. Oh, Rubik just dodging a bullet. 3 for 3. And I gotta say, trading kills, something Joenet will be very happy about.
Yeah, but it's not enough. It's not enough. You have to get until a couple towers. They did get tier 1. I don't know if they got it or if it was denied, but... on the other hand, they just lost tier 2 bottom tower, so that means they have no control of their jungle whatsoever. That Lone Druid can go, that Prophet as well, can go and farm that jungle as if it were their own.
Right, and they can farm their own Ancients. Their own jungle is protected for the most part. They're missing the tier 1 mid, but that's it. And you'll notice they've got the Hill Ward here, so if Joenet want to go for kills, it's going to take a smoke gank. I think the biggest concern for Joenet is they haven't really used the Wisp at all. I mean, Fate's played well, but they haven't been doing what they want, which is those relocate ganks, catch the Prophet, the Lone Druid, farming on their own. That early bad start, it's still kind of haunting them now. Oh, there they go, relocating top. A might be in trouble. Oh, this could be a kill on the King. The King is going to drop. A King no more. The crown ripped off his head, and down he goes.
And you know why they got that kill? Because Wisp got level 6 in that fight. And they were able to use him. Until that big fight mid, he was not still level 6, and they weren't able to pull a single Wisp gank, relocate gank in 19 minutes.
Wow, already level 11 on the Nyx, and he's got the gem again. I think he can solo kill this Windrunner before she's even able to pop that mechanism or Windrun, but we'll see. Luck's just not going in. I think he's got the burst to do this. Now he comes in, the backup's on the way, there's the stun, and the mana burn. I guess he did need the extra help. Good thing he waited. He's getting close to a Dagon. And once that's up, how do you live if you're Wisp? A single toss, a Fade Bolt, a Dagon, you're pretty much dead.
Yeah, and I'm surprised. I mean, he's the support that's not going for any farm at all, but he was able to buy that gem and he was able to get that Dagon. And that means he's been a successful ganker so far. Yeah, he died 2 times, but he got 4 kills and 5 assists. Really, really good if you're playing a support and you have that kind of money.
And this also makes that BKB, well, for the Shadow Fiend, not a guaranteed success. Obviously, Entangle is always a concern, but the big issue is you never know where the Nyx is. They lost the towers early, so now they don't have the map control. And I talk about it as a tax on the supports, because they have to buy sentry wards that they really can't afford. And we don't see any sentries in their inventory. There's no gem. It's only Zenith who really have the aggressive wards up in the enemy jungle and the mid lane. I don't... This BKB, we'll have to see if he can even get it off when it counts, because Zenith has the chain stun to kind of punish it.
Absolutely. But, oh, well, they're going ganking top, but... Are they ganking the correct target when you can have a Furion coming and defending you? Definitely not.
And he didn't even have to use the mech there. That's the worst part. And now CK on an island, not able to be tethered back to base safely at the end of that relocate. In fact, another haste rune? Alright, XY has clearly been in cahoots with Bruno here. Always the haste runes whenever he needs them. Of course, he has been getting pretty much every rune, so why the hell now? Now tossing him back to Lux.
Oh, no.
Well, that a swing and a miss there, but they get the kill anyway.
They're being so effective with the heroes they have. They're everywhere. I mean, Nature's Prophet seems to have landed the teleport to Tiny because he's been everywhere in the map. He's moving really fast, haste runes, and even if he doesn't have it, that drum and face buds gives him like 450 move spells, so... He's able to stand up, yeah.
Doesn't it feel like he's the one who's got the Wisp on his team? That's just how active this Tiny has been. The Wisp is on the Radiant, but it sure doesn't feel that way. Ancient Apparition ult was stolen and thrown back the other way. It will hit Hontrash player. Remember, he's got the BKB. It could be a good bait if he can find the opening for that big Requiem BKB combo. His whole team dies. Now he wants to unload Zenith in a headlong retreat, but they just don't have the damage. I don't think he may be able to get 1 kill. Requiem wasn't stolen by Freedom. No, he's got Shadow Rays, but Lux giving chase. The bear as well, burning him down. Hontrash player caught between a bear and a Spike Carapace. He will fall. Dummy Nation. Bruno, it's going to be a team wipe.
It's going to be a team wipe. I mean, you can't blame them. They did everything they could, but Zenith just outplayed them there. And that Tiny being so strong. Nyx Assassin. Now we understand why he's the first pick there. He did everything right. He just plays the Carapace where he needed to be. The Mana Burn doing lots of damage right now. The Impale getting at least 2 heroes every single time, or the Strain hero like it was that Shadow Fiend right now. And that Vendetta damage when you're level 14 at 22 minutes on a support. It's gotta be a lot of damage.
Again with the Shackles. Boy, he has been on point. And the Ancient Apparition ult coming in, so the mechanism won't help them. X-Freedom does have Nullfield, 2 points in it. It may be just enough to keep him alive. Wow, if that was a level 2 Ancient Apparition ult, they get an easy double there. Instead, they get nothing, and the tower falls. And again, look at the aggressive lane wards. They've got one pretty much everywhere. Well, this one more in the jungle, but it feels like the Wisp, because this is what you do if you're on the dire side of Joenet's lineup and you're winning. You have these wards everywhere for Wisp relocate ganks, but now it's just Zenith constantly the ones on the aggression, on the front foot, and Joenet just forced into such a bad defensive position.
Yeah, I mean, it's not over, but it's really, really hard now. They all have their core items. They're doing Roche. They're putting their Roche maybe in the Tiny, although he's really strong right now. I don't think they can kill the Tiny or the Lone Druid. Also, I'm really surprised that the Lone Druid has been keeping himself in the range form for the most part, while most Lone Druid always prefer to be in... There we go. He heard me.
Bruno, are you on the call with Ice? Be honest.
I might be.
How much is he paying you? Am I gonna have to find a new caster for our next game?
He's introducing me to some Singaporean pretty ladies. So
I don't know when Ice is having time to meet those, because he's been streaming quite a bit. But I guess they come to him.
Yes.
The ladies come to you if you're a
Yeah.
popular streamer.
Exactly, and he just redirects them to me. They just go talk to my agent, Bruno.
Another invis. I mean, just another good ganking rune for XY. And I was kidding about him. You know, he's gotten almost every single rune. Of course, you're going to get good ones when that happens. And you know, credit the team for giving him that early map control, doing well enough in their lanes that he could get them. But it's like having two Nyx assassins now. Both of these
Yeah.
heroes show up anywhere at any time.
And it's really terrible because you see that gem at, what was it, 10 minutes into the game, there was a gem, and after that there were no more useful wards anywhere for the Radiant team.
And they still
now there are
have
a
it.
couple.
They still
Yeah,
have
they
that
still
gem.
have it. What do? You can't have map control at all. And they're going, oh,
Oh, there's the Requiem. Could be a decent fight, but the problem is he gets the Requiem off. There you go.
Another
There's
shackle.
the Shackle. Hero Shackles from 993. He has been playing sensationally well, and the gem will fall. But the question is, can they find the kills in these prolonged fights? Zenith are going to be a bit stronger. XY is too manly for anyone to take unless there's a Shackle and a Cold Feet, locking him in place. Can they bring him down? Remember, he's got the Aegis. Maybe the hero you don't want to focus. He should die once. The final raise cleans him up, but now I think it's just going to be running away for Joenet. Buyback force from the Wisp. Wants to rejoin this fight. Wants to turn it around for her team. Does have relocate, but just nowhere safe to go. Could maybe look to bring the Shadow Fiend back to safety, but he'll TP out.
Yeah.
They got the gem. They got rid of the Aegis. I gotta say, a good fight for Joenet.
a good fight, but that Wisp bought back for nothing. There was literally nothing he could do. Shadow Fiend was running away. Maybe they lacked a bit of communication. But they lost the gem, so now they can maybe regain some map control. Of course, the gold and the XP is still in the favor of Zenith, but I mean, that Shadow Fiend didn't die there, and that's always good. He can go for his next item. What's he going for now?
I'm not sure. I feel like I guess Manta would be the expected choice. You're up against Entangle. You can Manta out of that. Saves your BKB for the stuns and for the right timings. But I don't know. I feel like they need Burst right now. He's got to get, like, at some point soon, that Daedalus, that MKV, a big damage item. Even a Shadow Blade, although a Shadow Blade maybe not the best choice now, since you expect Zenith to just go ahead and buy a new gem soon. I believe it should be off cooldown. Indeed it is.
Yeah, it is.
And, well, Shadow Blade's something you probably wouldn't get at this point, but I just mean a burst damage item. Something that's going to give them that quick DPS, because once that BKB wears off, he's toast. Tiny is definitely going to out-DPS a Shadow Fiend, unless that BKB's up.
Yeah. And, Nature's Prophet is going for that Shipstick. Everyone has so many items. That Bears almost has the Cuirass ready. And Nyx Assassin going for another gang. He's still level 14, but they can still kill that.
Well,
yeah.
That's a little bit of an unorthodox reality rift. I don't know if it mattered, but...
No, I think he was trying to farm there because he didn't see the Nyx Assassin. He just reality rift the creep while the Nyx Assassin was invisible.
It's what you talked about, losing those towers. There's nowhere
Yeah.
safe. Although there's always
Yeah.
the fountain. You'll be safe there, but then you pretty much lose, so...
Yeah, you won't be able to do too much there. And that bear farm in the crypts. How cheesy is that? Radiant heroes.
It's so obnoxious, and there are lineups that can punish that and just gank the bear if you've got enough physical damage, if you've got enough chain stun. They don't. They really can't kill this bear without a good shackle shot landing. And even if they kill it once, they're not killing it twice. And it just makes it so easy for Zenith to push all the lanes, farm the enemy jungle. Whether it's Tinker, whether it's Lone Druid, they just really love having these kind of heroes. Those split pushers, those strong farmers. Not putting all their eggs in one carries basket, but having multiple ones. Even Ice Ice's Naga Siren, which we've seen a lot of from him in the past. It's just Zenith getting to play their style of Dota.
Oh, look, Shadow Fiend attempting something. I don't know what.
Oh,
Going for that tiny, I guess.
He did go for the Shadow Blade. I love it. I don't know if it's actually going to work, but I do think they need something like this. Just something to get the momentum in their court. Maybe it's a little bit late to actually pick it up, but will there be a gem on Zenith? They haven't bought a new one yet.
No, but I disagree. I'm not a fan of the Shadow Blade now because
No?
you can't effectively use it to run away if you're entangled because you'll still be visible
Right.
until the entangle is over. I think it's much more of an early game item. If you can get the Shadow Blade at say
Right.
12, 15 minutes, you can deal a lot of damage. But now 30 minutes in, that mini crit is not that good. It's just 150 flat bonus damage. It doesn't start with your normal damage. I mean,
Yeah.
it stacks, but it doesn't increase like something with a crit or something like that. It has more late game power.
Bruno, stop being so damn reasonable. No, of course you're right. I feel like they do need some momentum though, and maybe Shadowblade's not the item to get that momentum, but they're getting out farmed. They're gonna lose this late. They can't just sit back and get the Shadow Fiend 6 slotted, because even if he gets that, he's not gonna outcarry this many farmed heroes. Even the supports on Zenith are big. Chaos Knight starts off the fight on Lone Druid, who now runs away. Chaos Knight will live. The Wisp keeping him alive. Trash player joining the fight as well. The Bear now starting to focus on him. The Shackle, for once it doesn't latch, and they needed it to. Now focusing on Lux. There's your Shadow Fiend BKB. No Requiem just yet. Now getting entangled. Trying to channel that Requiem. Will get it off, but just not enough damage. Everybody dropping in this fight. Tiny with the big stick going to work, and now clobbering some creeps. Now going back for the heroes. Wisp to fall. The good news that Shadowblade will help him get back to the fountain.
Yeah, that's quite a way of using the Shadowblade, to run away in your own base.
Well, it's not really what Joenet hoped for. I feel this game, it could have gone so much differently with that laning phase, Bruno. You go back to that suicide lane, Ice was caught out of position, getting greedy, wanting that extra golden experience. The lane was pushing, and Chaos Knight didn't have mana for Chaos Bolt. Then when they do go in on him, he gets the first blood before dying. Had that gone differently, we see the Wisp with level 6 a lot earlier. Maybe we don't see XY's roaming being as effective. Maybe this game turns out differently. And they're not 100% out of it, but it doesn't feel like they have any momentum for a comeback right now.
Yeah, and I think that they either go for a Hail Mary push or make something happen, or they just wait slowly until they push another lane. And they don't show any signs of stopping, because while the Fury is pushing bottom there, well, he still doesn't have a ship stick. He went for 4-step instead. They're all pushing top, and if they keep going like that, give them 2 or 3 minutes and they will be going high ground again.
They may not even wait. They've got a double damage rune on the Tiny. Prophet does have the money for the Hex if he wants to purchase it now, as he has the Voidstone and the Ultimate Orb. If I'm Zenith, you can wait for Roshan, but I really don't think you need to. A safer team probably would, but Zenith, I won't be surprised to see them just barrel down this lane, and indeed, it looks like that's what they're doing. Also, you talk about item progression. Assault Cuirass up on the Bear, Manta style complete on Tiny. Pretty much every item they would want. Everything else is just ultra luxury at this point.
Yeah, I love the 2 Ring of Protections in the Bear, because the Bear needs some more armor, so what's the cheapest way to do it? 2 Ring of Protections, easy.
A Bear needs some armor.
And the tower is gone so quickly.
It's such a demolition crew from the side of Zenith.
Wow, 2 hits, that Tiny. 1, 2 hits, and it's gone.
Yeah,
what can you do against
It's
that?
not often you see a lone druid just like looking like the small fry when it comes to pushing, also looking like the small fry when it comes to damage, and the fight triple from XY, but you can basically call it an ultra. Wow, he just shits out the damage. Excuse my French,
Yep.
but I feel quite appropriate there.
Wow, and the GG is called, and he's, look, for hitting that tower.
Brutal! That's like a 2-shot on the Rex, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, this Bruno,
Well, he has 671 damage and a Cuirass in his own team, so
this is too
it's only
much.
did this later.
I don't think Zenith expected. Well, maybe they did. They did play very aggressively all game. You gotta credit Zenith as well. Joenet made some mistakes, but, I mean, even going back to some things earlier in the game, like that beautiful bait on Ice bottom, they just show their veteran savvy, their decision-making, knowing that Joenet would probably try and force the issue on that lone druid, and baiting that trap, so it was good play by Zenith. They got a lineup that suited their style, and they executed.
Yep, they did so well. But some credit for that Windrunner as well, because even though they lost, those Shackles were right on spot every single time. They just couldn't capitalize on them as much as they wanted. But good job from her. Good job from the Shadow Fiend as well. I mean, dominating that mid lane when it could have been so wrong for them when they were losing the other 2 lanes so bad. So, strong performance from Joenet, but much stronger performance from Zenith, I guess.
Of course, this is only your first match of the day. We'll take a quick look at the groups before we wrap up this cast. We do have, I believe, 4 or 5 more best out of ones coming up today. All group stage matches, I believe, are best out of ones, as we don't have time in the schedule for more than that. So this group, Zenith advancing to 1-0. I would say probably, I was reading something about Orange maybe getting disqualified, but I'm not sure if that's actually true or just people trolling. But I would say this Group B, very wide open. Joenet, probably sort of the team that you expect to have the hardest time in the group. Orange doesn't have Mushi, so won't be quite the dominant force we normally see. Zenith, maybe with the inside track to take first in the group. Only the top 2 from each group to advance forward into the playoffs, which is single elimination happening tomorrow. But TNC Pagabik, the Filipino representative, and Myth Trust from Thailand, I feel all of these teams have a decent shot at that first or second place. I would not count any of them out. I'd say Zenith the slight favorites, maybe Orange second, but it's a tight group in Group B. So Joenet off to a slow start, but we'll see if they can bounce back. Guys, that does wrap it up for this game. We have more matches coming up later today. As you look at the schedule, our next match should be Orange Esports versus Joenet, if the rumors I've heard are false, but we'll find out if they are soon. For now, this is LD and Bruno.
GG.
Yeah,
I'll be back.
Just for this game, we'll be back.